none. Items for discussion and possible action. First, we have approved additional holidays for 2015. And you should all have those holidays in front of you. And these were the ones that were not included in November.
Except for Christmas Eve, and
Except
that was a
Christmas
half a
Eve, it was a
day.
half a day, and this is by the court,
Right.
what the court recognizes, okay?
Do we need like a recommendation to send this to the full board?
So I'll need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
This to the full board.
I'll second it.
And then this roll call or all in favor? Okay. Voice vote, okay. Let's go. Is
All in favor?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next is participate in appellate prosecutor's program.
You should have a resolution, the draft resolution would be there.
Okay. And this is something we've always done.
Yeah, $7,000 a year, and anytime that there's a conflict or something that the state attorney's office feels that they need another attorney to handle the case, we call them and then they come in and
This
handle it.
covers all that.
Right.
Okay, we need to.
This too would be a recommendation to the full board, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to recommend it to the full board.
Second. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Same sign. All right. Okay, next is recreate deputy position in the circuit clerk's office. Pam, you can do it. Come up here, you can it's longer.
We don't do it anymore. What do you need to know?
Okay.
Someone's left the employment, and I just need to replace it.
Okay.
And what job class is it going in?
Is it 13, pay grade 13? It's a
I don't know what
deputy.
it is.
Oh, the starting is
$9.79.
it's $9.79 an hour for the first 6 months, and then, after their 6-month probation period, if, they pass that, then they'll go up another percent and a half.
$9.94.
I didn't write it. Oh, I'm not.
That's one.
I didn't.
No, actually.
It goes to $9.94 for the next 6 months. then.
The part-time position has been replaced, we put that money into overtime. Okay. The girls will stay away from Stan and Susan. We have a budget for that.
This puts your office at how many employees besides
Right
you?
now, I've got 5, this will put it at 6, which is,
Okay.
when we're fully staffed, we have 6 girls.
I'd like to see, is it possible to run the office with 5 people?
Not really. When there's girls on vacation, someone calls in sick, we've got 2 people going to court, that's half my staff. And if it's a busy day like Wednesday, and actually every day now, we're having Judge Weber come in on Mondays and Wednesdays. Judge Benson's here Monday through Thursday, and then Judge Cordes is here on Friday. So we've got a lot of stuff rolling through, and we're extremely busy.
I would like to see, and I'm looking at the budget, but what I would like to see is to try it with the staff you have.
Well, it's already,
We
the
can
budget has already been passed to Fund 6.
Okay. How many employees, and I'm kind of looking, your office, you've had, quite a few, you've had a turnover in your office.
Most of them have left for better pay, because $9.79 an hour isn't much. Probably make more as a waitress, not an hourly rate like waitress.
Yeah.
What's the turnover been?
Oh. Four girls, I think.
Hey, would you say these?
You've lost eight. Eight?
Lost 8 people in 2 years?
I don't think so. Who's that been? Now Gail left to take the job in dispatch.
Corey, Yolanda, Jennifer, Heather, Barb, Kristen, Gail, and Sarah.
Heather left to take a better job at Joe Taylor's office. Yolanda left to take a job working for her husband, which was on the road, truck driving, keeping his books. She said $30 an hour, but I don't know how much she worked. Corey broke up with her boyfriend and moved back up to Kankakee. Who else was there?
Kristen,
Christian was fired.
and then Jennifer. Gail left to go to dispatch, and Sarah went to public defender.
Yes, Sarah went to the public defender's office for better pay.
Those have benefits,
Yes.
Yes.
Full-time.
My question is, out of all these vacancies, how many days has that office actually been without somebody in it?
Or with only a staff of 5?
That's what I'm curious. Can it operate or has it, is what I'm asking. And by,
It really puts a crunch, and what I'm afraid of is that it's eventually going to impact the court and the public in a detrimental way. I don't know, I really don't wanna see that happen.
So you have 2 in court?
Two in court, one on vacation, and one calls in sick, at least 2 girls run that office.
That's, I mean, it's hard to, you know, and people.
I would like to invite everybody here to come into my office and see what we do. It's not just stamping papers and putting them into the file. It's reading uniform orders of support, entering that data into the computer. Not just one computer, but 3 computers. It's processing a lot of very important and not easy to grasp material.
Is the staff, are they cross-trained where they can, if
They are
somebody's
to a
gone?
certain extent. Their computers are set up though, like the civil side will do different things than the criminal and traffic side. And they're not always familiar with what those are. And it will print out, there's just variances, but they do try to help out as much as possible.
Maybe that's a good idea, prior to reestablishing the position, that we do get in there and see what they do.
Mhm. Mhm. Take a look.
what's the actual hours of that office?
8:30 to 4:30.
Without shutting, that's noon, right on through lunch and
It's straight
everything?
through,
right?
you're straight through the day, you don't close?
So there's somebody there?
And I'm
at what?
usually here till 6 o'clock every night and sometimes on weekends.
Do you shut down at lunchtime?
Not usually unless we are very, very low staffed. And what we try to do is leave a criminal clerk, at least one criminal clerk and one civil clerk in there, so that if something comes up that either one of them isn't familiar with, we have no idea what's gonna walk in that door and questions that are gonna be asked. At least we have that reference there from both sides.
So you stagger your lunch hours like,
Yes.
I think Dana's back here, I'll ask, you stagger your lunch hours, don't you? That's what I thought. I thought everybody staggered their lunches to where they could.
Well, I think in her office you'd about have to, because people,
Yeah.
that's the only time they come pay fines and stuff, is over
Yeah,
lunch
because
hours.
the lunch
You can
hour,
also do it online too.
Yeah.
So,
And-
try to encourage
I even
that.
think more than that, and I think the reason it's going this direction, I'll just let it right out here, is that I've heard that there has been many occasions that office is not open. I'm not here to see that, Pam.
Right,
You
it
know,
has
but I'm
been,
just
because
asking.
that's my decision to close it, because we're not fully staffed, and I don't feel comfortable with all the money that comes in there, leaving one girl, or maybe two, and one has to help at the counter, and the other one's back in the back doing something on microfilm. So it's just, I like to split it up 3 and 3, if I possibly can. That gives me the coverage that I need, plus the phone's ringing,
Sure.
everything else is happening.
But by the same token, it's my understanding that, well, just from a courtesy standpoint, I mean, I assume there's lots of people that come to pay their fines over the noon hour.
Right, and generally, we are open. There have been times when people have been sick and we've been shorthanded. And people were in court and just various things will happen.
Wasn't, and help me on this, Camille, because I don't believe I was on the board, I don't remember. But in looking into some of this, in which, was there an arrangement made where the employees in that office were given
an extra PO day.
an extra what?
Personal
An
day.
extra
In
personal
fact,
day
Melanie
to
was
keep
on
the
there
office
when we
open.
did that, we was on finance when that went through, Melanie would be aware of that. Remember?
No, I don't, honestly, I don't remember that.
Now, I don't know that I don't know that we can dictate when
Right.
the elected official's office is open or isn't.
Mhm.
I don't believe
Well,
that's,
and
I don't believe that's our
do
job.
substantially, leave it open. It's just that occasionally, and that's not every week, it's not on a set schedule, but occasionally we do close it over the lunch hour.
See, and I'll use my job as an example, because same thing, we're public servants. We stagger our lunch hours. We always have somebody in that facility at all times, and sometimes only 2. And again, we're dealing with money. And the only time, and the state, that has to come from the top, the director. We do not close regardless unless there's 2 people. And then we take, and I can count on one hand in 15 years how many times that's happened. It just don't happen. And we leave all at the same time and come back. But when we come back, then we're playing catch up for the rest of the afternoon, because those people that didn't get in for that hour, we're gonna play catch up the rest of the day.
Well, I do a schedule every week for the girls and set up who's gonna be in court, who's gonna go to lunch at 11, who's gonna go to lunch at 12, who's supposed to be in the office. And we try to, I can't honestly tell you how many times in 2 years exactly, but it has not been that often.
We're in a secure facility here. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, we have security that sits out front.
Right out front.
So I don't think that by having, one person in that office during lunchtime is gonna really make that much difference, but that's just my own opinion. I mean, I could see if you were at the driver's license place
Yeah.
where it's not a secure facility.
No, it's not.
And everything, at least here, we have security that
Mhm.
is sitting right there, or I'm assuming that they don't take lunch. Or someone
There's
comes over and does their lunch, don't they? Yeah, so somebody's always there.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I mean, could be in a better secured area.
Oh, yeah. There's no security's outside the door.
Plus, if court has happened to be going on and whatever, there's the people in the courtroom that, and you guys don't have a magical button or whatever that you can push to reach to.
Well,
I
Panic
it's
button.
just a panic button, you have
Yeah,
a security
yeah,
button
yeah,
that
panic
goes to the
button,
sheriff's
yeah.
department, I'm
Mhm.
assuming, that there should be, if not.
Yeah.
Amy, do you have one?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought maybe everybody was in
State
the
has
court.
one.
I was thinking that the courthouse probably
Yeah.
had one established.
Well, let me ask you this, when you're really super busy and people are coming in from court and wanting copies of their orders, and someone else is there to pay money, and someone else wants you to, look up an old probate case on microfilm, and you're one person in the office, how would you handle it?
We've learned to
Take
do
numbers.
that. We do that. Take numbers, and we do a lot of multitasking. We're cross-trained in all areas, so if I answer the phone and I'm doing this, a lot of times I'm doing two things at once. That's just what we do. But, yeah, we do it all.
I still would like you all to come and see what we do and how we process and have to copy and keep things moving at a smooth pace for the court.
Okay, yeah, and that's no problem.
Also, and I just was under the understanding that because the budget had been approved for the funding of 6 employees, that would be, that's what I would assume, that it would be available still for those employees, for 6 employees.
I'm still curious to see the amount of time that has been missed by this position compared to what would have been the amount of time worked. Just to see what the difference is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about, Dan, might be when you do have a turnover, I mean, typically there's gotta be a line in there to recreate the position, get
Plus
somebody
the
else in
time
there.
that we take to train someone.
Which is, yeah, I mean,
Which
if
is
you have that much
significant.
turnover, then you're spending a lot of time training people. As opposed to where if you.
I know, I do the
Yeah.
same too, and it ain't fun.
Right, right.
I'm just curious of the, because obviously, if there's 8 people in 2 years, how many days were we totally without those people in the 2 years?
Right.
Compared to if that person was there, how many days would they have worked? I'd just like to see what that was. It might surprise you, I don't know,
Mhm.
might not.
What do you think the results would be?
Whether the office could operate with 5 people or 6, I guess that's the bottom line.
See, we've got, and again, I'll use an example. We have 4 employees, 1 intermittent, and there's days we're in the same situation. We get a phone call, 2 people's gonna be there, that's it. And it could be a day where we're slammed from 8 o'clock
So if the
on.
budget's been approved for 6 people and you cut it down to 5, are those 5 going to get absorbed the rest of that
Mm.
budget?
No.
So then what's the purpose of approving a budget if that's not what I'm allowed to spend? How can we,
And I'm gonna
Go
speak for
with-
myself here, and I would like to see if you can run the office with 5 employees. You make 6 when you're there, and I'd like to wait, and each one of us go in and see what your office is doing, how busy it is, and and then come back and revisit. We can make a decision. I'd like to hold off.
Well, I think the answer to the question she asked is,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's budgeted, doesn't mean you use it. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's there for, you hope you don't use all your budget, that's the idea. Is that right?
That's,
You
yeah,
don't want,
that's
you
right,
don't
yeah.
want to use all your budget.
no. I
Just because it's there,
understand.
and you're saying exactly right, just because it's
Maybe
there,
I'm
you
not
don't
saying
have to
it
spend
right,
it.
but I'm trying.
Mhm.
If you,
Well, and you have to realize too, I supplement one of those positions with the child support account. And this year, I think I gave Dee Dee a check for $6,000
are we
going
doing
towards
the
that
child
payment.
support?
Yeah, you guys are picking up, it used to be funded fully by
Right,
support
okay.
funds, but, several years ago, that fund was not able to pay that position in full. And instead of eliminating it, you guys chose to pick up the shortfall.
So it's not like you're totally paying
Mhm.
for 6, you're paying for 5.5 right now.
I know in the past it was when we have eliminated a position that was vacant, which we have done in every office in this building, but the circuit clerk's office, the staff then was given another step for picking up those duties. So it did.
Would they be willing to do that?
I don't know, I'd have to ask.
Because I think what I've got here, the county clerk's office is working with less people than what they originally had. There were 4 now, there was 6. The assessor's office, there were 3, there was 4. The treasurer's office is 3, there was 4, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, they brought somebody in at tax time, part-time?
At the beginning.
At the
when it was
beginning,
still
okay.
there.
And EMA, that's an office that's working with 2. So if one is gone in Teresa's office, she has to
Well,
shut her office down
That's
too.
comparing apples and oranges. We're talking about court. We're
Right.
talking about attorneys.
Mhm.
We're talking about defendants and petitioners. And just people that wanna look up probate stuff, just to do family stuff. There's a lot of traffic in that office. And before I took over, there was really a total of 8 people working for the circuit clerk. There were 6 full-time and 2 part-time. So I have gone down I cut 2 positions, basically, and now I'm operating with 6.
Okay, what's the thing you wanna do?
I wanna get a handle on it before we recreate the position.
How soon is she leaving?
She's already gone. How long has she been gone? Week? 2 weeks?
Going on the second.
No, 1 week.
And back to the new yard thing, I mean, we all understand, there are just times it's not possible to keep an office open over there.
Right, you can't, and we understand that, there's gonna be circumstances.
Those things happen,
Mhm.
but hopefully not very often, you know, I mean,
No, not very often.
you know.
Well, what's not very often, because if I'm John Q. Public, which I am, and I wanna come in there, how am I supposed to know if it's,
Gonna
it's
be
not
open
very
enough?
often, once a month, once every 6 months?
Well, I
Once
can't
a
determine
week?
that, but
Well,
no,
as I
it's
say,
not
let's
once a
just put it
week.
this way, if you're said that you're to be open during the lunchtime, then you should be open during lunchtime. No matter if there's 1 person there, or if there's 2 people there. It's no difference than if we go to the driver's license place, or if we go to the bank, and the bank has 1 person that is not sick that day, and they expect to have the bank open. When you walk up there, you expect to have service, no matter if there's 1 person or 10 people in there.
I may have to wait because they're short-handed.
Exactly.
No.
And you may, I mean, you don't, even with the amount of people that you have on your staff, you still may have to stand and wait. I mean, that's just the way that the public works.
Now also, by not being open at a lunch hour, if somebody, and it's part their fault too, I gotta say, they go in to try to pay a fine by a certain date, and they push it to the end of it,
Yes,
and they don't get it paid because it wasn't open, and they get an arrest warrant for them. Does that happen? I mean, if they don't
We
pay by,
always have the option of paying online.
yeah, but everybody didn't, some of these
Yeah,
young
some
kids
people
don't
don't
have
do
that
that.
stuff.
Okay.
But most young kids got more than I got, I'll guarantee you that, as far as computers.
we got board members that don't do things online.
Yeah.
I mean, what the
There's a
heck?
lot
Huh?
of people that don't,
I'm just saying, from a legal
Some people don't
standpoint,
have credit
can't
cards.
they be
Right.
caught
that's true.
by not meeting deadlines? And like I said, part of it is their own fault because they waited till the last minute. I understand
We
that.
have people that wait till the
But
last
some
minute,
people
come
don't
in
have the
and
money.
pay it, and then walk their, payment into the court.
Some
So they
people just have
appear
to,
anyway.
you know, scrape their money to the last second too.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it from that.
Well, leaving it open is no problem. It's just that in the past, yeah, we have closed a few times. But generally, we don't.
Oh, we're already closed, about 14 days out of the year anyway. It's as simple as that, which is more than what the public has basically anyway, so, I mean, and if you continue to
And our
add that.
holiday schedule is on my website as well.
So, does the committee wish to revisit this maybe next meeting? There's time to look at this, come to your office and see how busy you are?
Have a note here,
That'd be fine.
Okay,
get in there.
okay.
When's the next meeting?
Uh,
Next month?
Mhm.
Oh, it looks like you're gonna be January 20th.
6 o'clock. Tuesday night. So that's what we'll do. We'll come in, just
I've
drop,
invited
see how
everybody
busy.
for the last 2.5, 3 years.
I did get in there, I didn't spend a lot of time, I apologize for that.
I did make one trip in and I got exactly what I asked for, she did. You know, and it's really helped me on that, so.
We'll revisit in January, Pam.
Okay.
Till then, we got holidays in there and some time off. So things will slow down maybe a little bit with that.
I don't know. It's just been absolutely crazy.
Okay. All right, now, moving on, officers remaining open during the lunch hour, and that's kind of hit on that too, so. Next, we are gonna go to required Open Meetings Act training for county board members. All county board members have to take this test online.
Dina, am I gonna repeat it?
Yes.
I do have to repeat it.
Yeah.
Really?
Even if we took
Because she
it,
just got, you guys don't, because you're
Okay.
still in your term.
okay.
Melanie
But
took
I was out of
it,
the
but then
term.
she was out of the term, so now,
Yeah.
so anybody who just got sworn in, a new member needs to take that again. And I believe you guys should have all gotten the letter, and it should give you the link, to do that. You have 90 days to get that done,
So you'll do it every 4 years.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Gotta get reelected.
Okay, now do we need to take that to the full?
Uh-uh.
No, we
Um,
don't,
just-
we'll just remind them.
Just
You
remind
can just
them that,
remind them.
that's
Sure,
what they're
like,
saying,
at the
and
committee report.
we'll kind of,
Okay,
I'll keep
cool.
track when it gets closer to that 90 days of who has it, maybe remind them.
Okay, next is designate Camille Redmond as Open Meetings Act compliant officer.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
And she'll have to take it every year.
Yeah.
That'll be a recommendation,
Like
I
that.
think, to the full board too,
Yep.
for appointment.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take the test. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I won't say anything. Okay, next, bill paying procedure.
I'm here.
Good.
Get through all this for us,
You're on.
explain us.
What do you want?
We got another game plan.
Here's what we'd like to do.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear what we wanna do.
Because the last 2 years when the county board met so much, our bills were actually getting paid on time. And they weren't, some bills actually could go 7 weeks out by the time they got in, they went to committee, and then the check actually got cut after the full board meeting. So we would, instead of going backwards and having our bills be late,
Go back to being late, yeah.
Dana and I were talking about a way to keep paying these in a more timely fashion. So what we came up with was, and I'll take our committee. This committee met, and we've got our bills. Dana puts them on the computer like she always does, and she sends that printout out to all the board members. So they'll get that every board member will get that ahead of time. If a board member has a question about a bill that's not on the finance committee, then they would either need to come to the meeting to question it, or call Camille and ask her their question, and if she can answer it, she will. If not, she'll bring it during discussion of the bills.
Or a bill specific to a committee, they could go to that committee, couldn't they?
Right, that's what
That's what we're
That's what I
asking.
meant.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so they
that's
get
what
the-
Highway
So-
bill to highway.
Yeah, and you got a question with
Public
highway
safety
bill,
to public
property,
safety.
whatever, you go and
Right.
question at that committee.
Right, so that's, I was just using us as an example. So if
Okay.
someone had a question with the packet that, the printout that Dana sent out on this group, they would either come to this committee or they could ask Camille, and then Camille could get the answer for them, basically. So that when you guys.
Or pull the bill
Or hold it till
The
the
committee
full
would-
board.
They can
Yeah.
pull the bill.
until
And,
the
and
full
yeah,
board.
anytime a
Right.
committee member can always pull a bill.
Now, what's gonna happen here?
So when you approve the bills tonight, instead of waiting until the full board meets, which is only once a month now, those bills will be paid on Friday
Through the committee
through
process.
the committee instead of being, because in the past it was approved at committee and then also approved at the full board, and then no checks were ever getting sent out in that 3 or 4 week period while committees were meeting.
Where,
So-
for the last 2 years, you had the opportunity to get your bills paid 3 different times.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the highway
Instead of
department
just
has
once.
weekly bills that are just automatically paid.
So everybody
We don't-
does.
Yeah, that,
Everybody
I'm
has-
not talking about the
that's done,
weeklies.
you have to do that.
Yeah, we're not talking about the weeklies, we're talking about your monthly bills. So say someone had a question about a bill that was on the printout for highway.
Just pull one.
They would, and they weren't on your committee. They would come to the highway committee and ask a question about it, and then that committee would decide whether, that bill needs to be pulled and held for more
This-
information or.
Here's a bill from D, American Legal Publishing Corporation. Okay, let's say Randy, he didn't want that bill paid, he's not on this committee, but he didn't want that bill paid because he didn't understand what she was doing, trying to get a check for $495. He gets a hold of Camille, says, I'd like to see that particular bill go to full board. It's taken off, that way it's pulled the next day in my office, and it's not paid. No, it's not paid. But the rest of them get paid.
So what happens to someone if they don't have email? Or if their email's down?
Well, you would need to get a hold of someone, I would say.
It's not bypassing the normal procedure where if something's going to be, the committee has the authority to approve anything up to $1,000 anyway. There's no reason why that should wait possibly 3 weeks
Yeah.
to get approved again by the full board when the committee has the authority to do that. If it's something like, say I come and I need, 10 new monitors and it's gonna be over $1,000, I'm going to have to go to the full board to get permission for that anyway.
And at that point, you're probably gonna, and maybe not always, but you might get something, to purchase these monitors not to exceed X amount.
Right, so when that bill
Then the
comes
full
in,
board's approve that, so it's gonna go through anyway.
right,
If that bill comes in more than that,
and it's gonna go back to
then
the
it's
full
going
board.
back to the full board.
If it comes in under that or at the amount that it's approved, there's no reason why the committee can't say, yes, go ahead and pay that without having to wait potentially 2 or 3 weeks before it actually gets paid. Because we've had, we won't meet now for 2 weeks, so I could get a bill in tomorrow. And if we don't do this, it would be 7 weeks before they receive the check. So we'd like to keep that from us going back to that and getting the phone calls or the late fees from the vendor saying, this way, it allows the committee, it allows the check to be cut based on the committee's approval of the bills. Unless it is something that requires full board. If it requires full board, it's gonna go to full board.
Okay, so those will be designated out?
You have to pull those, otherwise we're not gonna know.
Oh, we're gonna pull.
Yeah.
You would
Well,
have
The
to.
committee's gonna pull.
Whoever.
The committee's gonna be
The
responsible for
office
pulling.
head shouldn't be submitting a bill to a committee for approval if it's over $1,000 and they didn't get approval to purchase that item anyway.
Okay, all right.
So you're gonna rely on the office head to do their job. You may for a little while have to keep on top of it, but like I said, the committees have approval to approve anything up to $1,000 anyway. It seems like you're making things a double approval before a check gets cut if we hold it until the full board actually meets. And
And I just need to know how we're gonna do it. You
So
know,
down
so
the
that
road,
we have-
somebody goes,
That's right,
why'd you do that, Dana?
so that we have.
I don't think it'll be Dana's responsibility to figure out, did that person go get the proper approval that they needed? I think it has to fall back on the office holder who's submitting the claims, and they need to do their job. But it would get a check to the vendor sooner.
So when we went from committees to 3 full board meetings a month, we really never changed how bills were paid. I mean, we never formally did anything, it was just that
They were paid at each.
They were
board
paid
meeting,
each
board
meeting.
meeting. So now that we're going back to committees, are we changing anything?
I don't know if you guys ever realized that after you approved the bills at a committee, that the check was never actually even cut until after the full board meeting. You probably never knew that, honestly. You felt you approved the bills, you thought the check was gonna go probably that week, right?
No,
Yeah.
well, as I say, I was pretty certain that we didn't pay them until after the board meeting.
Okay. I know some didn't, because it was like, well, why did we approve them then at the committee level if we were gonna turn around and,
So doing it this new way, we'll be doing it
We're
the
gonna pay-
same,
we're gonna be-
except for we're gonna be paying it with smaller crews making the decision. The
unless it's
committee-
over $1,000?
Right, the committees will be doing it.
Because you're supposed to get full board approval for something that's going to be over $1,000 before you even order it.
So doing it this way, do we need to take this to the full board?
I would think so, for my benefit,
Okay,
And
with
so that
that having,
everybody's on the same
with that
page.
having been said, we're gonna probably be a month away before we can do that.
Well,
We're
you're
gonna-
gonna,
we're gonna write up a
your bills
procedure.
haven't been paid yet anyway, because I haven't got any checks yet.
So we're gonna approve the bills at full board. Then the following month at full board, we need to specific.
Well, this is on the agenda to approve at the full board
I guess I-
Thursday.
So we don't need, we
I
don't
mean,
need a
can write-
motion.
we wanna write up what we want to take to the full board for Thursday for you guys to
Okay,
approve.
I got you.
And-
Makes sense.
And Dana, you'll still get those sheets to us with all the bills
Oh,
on
motion for
anyway.
bill payment
So
receipt.
all board
So we
members
can
are
do
gonna
that.
have that, just like they've been having the last 2 years, so they're already gonna have that.
On the 3 weeks.
Right, so all board members, unless they don't have email, right now, I think there's only one that doesn't have email.
Mhm.
But, you know, we had one before that didn't have email, he'd come down here to the courthouse and get his stuff and check out, so what needed to be done.
Well, I would make a motion that we take it to the full board for the bill pay procedure. For approval.
Yeah, the rest of them may not wanna do it that way.
We just have to see
We
what.
just-
what
I
the
just-
full board-
We'd like to be able to
Yeah, I just need to know for.
continue paying them
I
at
think as long as people understand that, number one, no committee can approve a bill over $1,000 to begin with. And number two, if any board member, whether they serve on that committee or not, has a question, they can question that committee,
correct.
Right.
correct?
Mhm.
And it's like Dana sent stuff out today, all the board members got that, so we've been getting that all along.
Well, that's how Alcoa does their bills. As a trustee head, you have the authority, there's a smaller amount that you can spend up to so much under that committee. You don't have to have board approval to pay that bill, but anything over that, you have
Yeah.
to take it to the full board. So you're doing the same thing here.
And like I say, it can be looked over, they can come to the meeting, they have a question,
They can call the committee chair.
call me. We'll pull
They
it
can
out,
come
look
in
at it.
and they can come in
I was
and
gonna
look
say,
at
they
it.
can always
Yeah,
call me
they
if
can
they
actually
have a bill, I
come
can
right in
email
and look
them
at
a
the bill.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And every board member's gonna be seeing a complete printout of all the bills.
Right.
I
Bottom line
just want
being, the bills
everybody
will
on
get
the
paid
same
on
page.
time.
Mhm.
I want everybody on the same page.
Right.
Well, I think everybody has to understand how the process is going to work.
Yes.
yeah.
We need to explain it to the full board just like we did tonight, so they don't.
You didn't have a second on his, did
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
I'm gonna second that,
Okay.
so that way it goes to the full board. Okay. Anything else on that? Oh, yes. You do have to deal with that. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, next, meeting dates for 2015. Finance used to meet 2 days a month. We met on the first Monday at 7 a.m., and we met the Tuesday before the board meeting at 7 p.m. And I think everybody's okay with the time here, 6 o'clock. It's a little earlier and we're not too late getting out of here. We're gonna go to one meeting a month. I want your input here. If we would need another finance meeting for whatever reason, we can call a special finance meeting. Does everybody think of that?
Good idea.
I can't, 7 o'clock, in the morning, I could work at 7:30. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not.
Yeah. So, if that meets everybody's, you've got a list of the days here.
It'll be the Tuesday prior to the full board.
At 6 p.m. Okay, and if that is okay?
A motion to adopt the meeting dates.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All committee meetings will be posted on the website.
They'll be posted for the year, and then once a month, we will also do like just a January listing. And we'll send that out to you guys too, and that will also be on the website then.
You'll send one out every month for every committee. Good. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, any reason to go into closed session? I don't think there is. Items for discussion, no action. The next meeting, and this is just something to start thinking about, the public comment, at the board meetings. The agenda comes out on Tuesday, and you might have got an email from Lars. Change this to where, if somebody like Randy wants to go on the agenda and speak, and he doesn't know what's on the agenda, he can put his name on the agenda to speak, I believe, 4:30, the prior day before the board meeting. I think that's.
Oh, that was
said.
recommendation, yeah.
Recommendation.
Recommendation.
So what I want us to do before the next finance, think about this, see how we want to do it, and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting, how we want to fine tune that.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful. Once people see the agenda of the full board come out, that might be when they decide they do want to say something.
It's hard to speak when you don't know what's on there.
Yeah.
Now, you know, and going, well, it might be on there, so I want to get on the agenda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we had talked before, somewhat, a little bit about doing it where, you know, the agenda comes out, people come from the public or whatever.
Mhm.
If they sign that they want to speak for the evening, you know, just sign in. that you want to speak.
Okay. Well, get your ideas together, and then next meeting, January, we'll put it together and come up with a plan,
Perfect.
okay?
Mhm.
All right. Anything else? If there is nothing else, do you have a motion to
I
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.